Hey guys, welcome back. This is Naveen from UiBrains Technologies. So last few videos we have understand the CRUD application using React.js and Vue.js. So now is this time for you to understand the same CRUD application using Angular. So now we will be using Angular 13 version. So it is complete CRUD application. It's a contact manager application where you can create a contact, update a contact, delete a contact. You can even view the existing contact details and all. You can completely manage all your contacts in this application. Okay, so this is the overview, the look and feel of this application. And here you click on create new for creating a fresh contact. Okay, and then if you click on edit, you can edit the existing contact, and you can click on view to view the contact, and you can delete also. Okay, and you can even have a search. So that's complete functionality we are going to start now. Okay, so just be with me for the entire video, so you will be able to develop this awesome CRUD application using Angular. So to create this project, we need to install a few packages. The very first one is your Angular CLI. Okay, so first thing you have to install is Angular CLI. If you already have Angular CLI, then you can start with Angular project. Okay, so to create Angular CLI, command goes to be npm install -g at Angular /CLI. Okay, this is the command to install. Okay, this will install 13 version of Angular that's currently running on. And after that, how you create a package? I mean, how you create a project? That is ng new and your application name. Okay, so my application name here is Angular Contact Manager (MGR). Okay, so Angular Contact Manager. So let me create this application now. So where do I create my project is in YouTube UiBrains temporary folder. So I create here. Okay, this for time being. So I'll copy the path. I will open a command line. Yeah, I'll say go to the folder. I made a mistake. Okay, go to temp. Yeah, I colon. Yes. Yeah, here first you can check the Angular version which I have ng hyphen hyphen version. So I mean after you install Angular CLI, so you make sure you check the Angular version. So what was been installed in your system. Okay, I think it will take some time. Come on. Yep, Angular CLI 13.2. Okay, so now Angular 13 version is there. Okay, fine. So now I have to create a project. So ng new. Okay, so Angular hyphen contact manager. Okay, just MGR. Okay, that's my application. Just press enter. So this is gonna create a complete Angular project for us. So it asks for a few questions. Do you require Angular routing? Yes, of course I need to have routing because I need to switch between create contact, add contact and all. So yes, enter. So it asks for which style sheet format you're gonna use. Yes, I'm using the vanilla CSS. Yes. Okay, that's fine. So it's been created all the required files and also installing the npm packages. So please just wait for few minutes to make this to finish, and then we'll start with another packages installation, and quickly we'll start with the project. So we got the project has created. Now what should I do is I'll go inside the folder. Yeah, these all the folders and files has been created. Let me load this to editor. So I was running the server. Let me stop it and I'll close all the things. Yeah, so I'll say file open and paste. Um, this will be inside of temp Angular manager. Okay, okay. So it takes a few minutes to load the project. So we have to wait for that. Come on. Yeah. So it is trying to index. Yeah, once it is done, you can start the application. Just say npm runs, or else you can just simply say npm start. Okay, so that will start your Angular application. So how it works? Yeah, it's creating build phases. Okay, it's finished, and go here. You get the default Angular application. Okay, super. So fine. Before we proceed of deleting all this existing content, what I will do is I need to install few more packages. One is Bootstrap and also the Font Awesome. Okay, those two we'll add. For Font Awesome, the command will be font awesome. What man? Yeah. Okay, this is the command. So let's have the command here. npm. So I need to install both together. So just say Bootstrap and Font Awesome free. Bootstrap is for layout design and this is for icons. So I'll copy the path. So where should we install it? You can open a fresh terminal window at the project location and just paste it, enter. So we have to wait for a few more minutes to install, download these packages like Bootstrap and Font Awesome, and then we'll configure it. Okay. So yep, it's been downloaded. Yeah, fine. Yeah, before we proceed with configuration, you have to connect the CDN link of Font Awesome. So where you get the CDN link is you go to Google and just say CDNJS Font Awesome. Come on. Okay. Yep, here you have to copy this link tag and where you have to add. For example, in SRC, there is an index.html. So where you need to add the link for Font Awesome. Okay, that's fine. And after that, you have to configure the Bootstrap and Font Awesome CSS files. The way you have to configure is in the Angular project, there is one file called angular.json. Yeah, in the angular.json, if you drag little bit, there is a file, there is some configuration like styles and scripts. So here you have to configure. So how would you configure is node modules slash. So where is the Font Awesome? So go to node modules inside there is @font awesome, Font Awesome, CSS and all.css. If I can open in Explorer, you can find the path. Okay, so just up to here, copy. So just make it here. Okay, you can make backward slash css slash all.css. Okay, so one more we need to add, that is node modules bootstrap. So if we go inside the bootstrap does css bootstrap.css. If you open an explorer, here is the path. Copy here. So just say slash file name bootstrap.css. Okay, and the same thing for scripts. You need to add scripts here. Okay, you have to add a scripts here. It's dist/js folder. So if you go inside a JS folder, you can find bootstrap.bundle.js, bootstrap.bundle.js. Okay, so Font Awesome has configured, Bootstrap is configured, that's fine. And so one last thing, I have to add my own font, that is Ubuntu font. So I'll go with Google. Let's say Google Fonts. Yeah, go to Google Fonts and you can search for Ubuntu. Yeah, just go with import and copy the import statement. Where is the global style sheet is your style.css. Okay, in the SRC there will be one styles.css is your global style sheet. You can add an import statement, and also for the body tag, let's say font family is Ubuntu. Okay, let's say it's important. Okay, yeah, it's fine. That's okay. Yeah. So we are done with this. So freshly we'll restart the application for reflect all our changes. So I'll just stop the server again. Let's say npm start. Okay, so it will reflect all your changes. Okay, so it's been starting. Okay, started. Go back to the browser. We got okay. So this page has come, and so let's quickly finish off this this homepage setup. Okay. If I go to app, this whole content is coming from my app component.html. I don't need anything else. I'll save it. So now it's completely empty. Okay, I'll say h2 app components. So you get the app component with my own font. That's perfect. And you want to confirm the bootstrap configuration. Just try to add a button with a class btn minus danger. Let's say hello. Okay. You get the hello button danger, so bootstrap has successfully configured. And if you want to confirm icons configuration, give the class fa. So you're getting all the Fontosum classes, fa minus home with fa minus some 4x. Yes, you get the home icon. Even colors and all also will work. Okay, so font configuration done, bootstrap configuration done, icons configuration is done. Okay, I'll delete. Yep. So now our application is ready to start with this project. Okay, I just saved project somewhere. I'll just get it somewhere in Angular projects. Yeah, contact manager code. Yeah, this is the application we're going to develop now with some background color, reddish color because Angular, right? Which have these many pages. Okay, so now let's start creating the components and service we created up to here, right? Yeah. So now to make this setup, we need to create the component. So just look for what are all the components required. So first I need a navbar component. This is a navbar, and we need to have this whole page. Okay, that is contact manager is the home page, and in that you have add contact. So add hyphen contact component. Next edit contact component, and we also required a view contact component, and delete not required because this is on this home page only. And along with that I also need the spinner component. Okay, to just have a spinner for fetching data. It just display the spinner. Okay, so these components have to be created. So in Angular, how to create these components is command is nggc and your component name. Okay, so C stands for component. Same like that, you want to create a service, it is nggs. Okay, yeah. So where you create a component is go here in the app. I create a new directory called components. Okay, in components I will open with terminal. Okay, the components location. Yeah. So first I'll say nggc navbar. Okay. Uh, some problem, you can't run the script. Okay, that's some problem with my editor. I'll just fix it. I go to here, go to terminal. Where is my terminal? Yeah, terminal. It was using PowerShell. I'll change to local command.txt. Okay, and I also make some prettier configuration. So prettier, just reformat the code. Just it will rearrange the code for me. Okay, when I save it. Yep. So fine. Now let's open a fresh terminal. At components location, right? So components open in terminal. Yeah, here I'll say nggc navbar. Okay, so yeah, navbar has been created. Next, I have to create a contact manager. Just say nggc contact manager. Okay, next, add contact, add contact. Okay, next, edit contact, edit contact. Next, view contact, view contact. And lastly, we have spinner. Okay, let's say spinner. Okay, exit. Yep. So when you check the components folder, you have add contact, contact manager, edit contact, navbar, spinner, view contact. Okay, so if something required, we'll create that. Okay, that's fine. And we're going to create services as well. Yes, you can create a service. Create a directory called services. Yeah, open with terminal. How to create a service is nggs. Okay, and just say contact. So automatically contact.service will come. nggs contact. So contact.service has come. Okay. And I also create another folder called models. Models. Okay. Fine. Now here, mm, what I do is, yeah. So I can create models also. There are two models required for this application. One is contact model and one is the group model. For example, to maintain group information is a family, colleague, or what, we have a group separately and contact separately. Okay, so I have to create one TypeScript. Just say I contact. So export, come on, export interface I contact. Yeah, here I have few properties. One is ID, which is optional of type string. Okay, and we also have the person name required. Okay, name, email required, and the person photo required, photo, mobile, and company and title. Okay, and one more thing, group ID required. Group ID. So this ID specific name will be in a group. Okay, connection between the contact and group. Okay, I hope that's fine. Group ID and all is fine. Now back to here. Back to models. I create another one. New TypeScript. Just say I group export interface I group. Yep, here ID of type string and also name, group name is string. That's a very simple one, just ID and name, and that's connection here. Okay, so you have two models and all the components. Fine. So now, so it's time to start with the routing configuration. So for which path, what is the component to be loaded, and after that we'll start with the static design of the pages. So now let's start with. Alright, so let's start with the routing. I have opened a file called routing module. Okay, in this I'll make path empty. So redirect to uh, contacts, redirect to slash contacts slash list. Okay, just a contact slash admin, and also path match is full. Okay, so plan here is we don't have actually home page. When you make empty request, it will automatically redirect to this path, and this path you have to configure now. Okay, so for the path called contacts slash admin, then the component to be loaded is contact manager component to be loaded. Okay, so like that I have one more slash add, let's say add contact component, and I'll say edit slash colon contact ID. So particular contact I have to edit, so edit contact component, and for view this is view contact component. Okay, yeah, fine, that looks good, contacts and all. Yeah, so let's check. Yeah, it's going here, but I think the problem is don't make slash. There's some problem. Okay, router outlet was not declared, so that's a problem. Yeah, go to app component.html. Yeah, here is empty. Let's say router outlet. So if you have the outlet, then what is that you have configured in the router configuration that comes on the app. See, you get contact manager work. See, even though if I make an empty path, it redirects automatically to admin page. That perfects. And when I say slash add, you get the add contact works. I'll say edit slash some blah 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 id. Edit contact works. And if I say view blah blah blah, view works. Okay. That looks good, and if you want to have even page not found components here, so I'll do one thing. Open with terminal. Let's say nggc page not found. Okay, you can also configure the page not found. That's really required. Okay, I got a page not found. So how you configure is simple. Let's make here. Just give some star and star. This is page not found. Oh, not that one. Page not found component. Okay, so what happens is if I make some blah 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 dummy request, then you get the page not found. Okay, so yeah, all routings are working, and let's go to page not found. I don't need just something like this. Let's make one basic container because we never come back to this page not found anytime. So we'll just write it quickly. Column, I write some p.h3 something called text danger, and I'll say font weight bold. I'll say 404 page not found. So you get something like this. Okay, so you get something like this. Even if you want to design something, images and all, you can actually do it, but I don't require. Okay, fine. Now, yeah, we make empty. Contact manager works, but on top of that, for every page, navbar is common, right? Navbar is common. So what I do is go to app component. On top of router outlet, I'll say navbar component. If I add a navbar, so every component navbar has come. Okay, if I say something called add, you get the navbar like that. Okay, so we have properly configured all this what's called routing, and now let's start making a design of the pages. So to start with a navbar, I go inside navbar. Yeah, here I go to HTML. So now let's start with a simple nav tag, a bootstrap setup. Okay, how navbar looks like is this ng contact manager. So just give a class called navbar dark and bg danger and navbar expand sm. Let's take one container. In that router, okay, anchor tag with router link to slash and give the class navbar brand and let's say ng contacts. Ng contacts manager. It's like Angular contacts manager. Okay. If you wish to have a phone icon there, I tag with the class fa minus mobile. Okay, you get the phone icon over there. Okay, that's very simple and basic navbar. So now let's start with the contact manager. Before I start, the background color is something different. It's quite reddish color. So if you want to have that, just go with here and this color picker and I can change this little reddish. Okay, where you add that is in your global style sheet. That's styles.css. Let's say for body tag, background color, this one. It's important. Okay, so slight reddish color has come. Okay, now let's start with contact manager. Okay, so what is contact manager? Ng contacts, button and all. Okay, so back to where is that? Let's close all the things I don't need. Yeah, directly jump into contact manager HTML. Yep, here. Let's say one container, one row, single column, 3.h3. Just see contacts, ng contacts. Okay, so let's say margin top 3 and let's say text danger font weight bold. Okay, I need to have a link here, an anchor tag because it's shifted to, I mean it should go to the add contact page. So router link to be slash contacts slash add and give the class. It's a button btn minus danger is a button and just say new. Okay, and let's make it squat small button btn hyphen sm a small button. Okay, and we also have a plus symbol over there. I tag plus circle. You get the nice plus symbol, and under that I need to have another paragraph for this dummy text 30 tab, and let's make this as font weight only font style italic. Okay, looks good. And under that we have a search box. So I'll say here only I'll say a form in that one row first column. Let's take like this call nd6 in that another row first column and second column. So first column I have a input text, yeah, give the class called form control and let's say the placeholder it's search user, yeah, search user, and also I have a submit button. Just say input again, input type equal to submit and the class it will be a button. So btn minus outline dark. Okay, and just say value is search. Okay, and you wish to have an icon. No, you can't add. Okay, let's leave it. Okay, so you have a search box and search button. Okay, next um, next Under that you have the cards like this. Okay, so now let's start making at least a static card. So here is a container. Yeah, whole thing is container. Let's say cards. Okay, so one container, in that one row, single call MD6 for this one. Yeah, in that I have a card, so card body. In that I have, yes, you got a card body, but I have some space. That's margin top 3. Okay, and this card is having list group item danger color. Okay, so here you have some 3 parts: image, list group, and buttons. So you have 3 columns actually, and all are of different sizes. So I write like in this one row, call SM 4 column layout for image, and 7 column layout for the data, and 1 column layout for buttons. Okay, yeah. So 4 column I need to have an image. Let me grab some image from online. I go to here, just go to Google, just search for use icon PNG images. You can search for an image. Yeah, I just need this image. So right click, copy image address. I'll just paste the address. Okay, so you get image, but it's quite large image, so you have to fit it there. So I can give a class called contact image, and let me give some styles for the contact image. Go to style.css, the global.contact image. I'll say width some 150 pixels. Okay, you got a small image, and also I'll say border radius 50%. Okay, quite rounded images. Okay, fine. And right side you have another column. Go to HTML. Yeah, this column I have a UL li. In this I have name. Let me write a span tag with a class font weight bold. So what is this is the name you have to write. As of now, static data, but we have to give the classes. Give the class called list group, and this is list group item. Okay, so same like this, I have few other. Let's say mobile number or email of the person, and this is mobile, and here mobile static data as of now. Okay, fine. And both are not in a same row. You can just say align items center. Okay, and this column, yeah, this column I have 3 links. One is 1 2 3, right? So these two are links. View and edit is links, and this is a button. Delete is a button. Okay, so I have to go here. Let's say anchor tag. Let's say router link. This slash contact slash add. Okay, slash the contact ID to be added. As of now, we don't have contact ID. Just keep it empty, like hardcore data. Class, it's a button btn minus warning, btn warning, and here an icon with a class I. Okay, and same like this, I'll copy. This is btn primary. It will be an icon called this is edit. It's not add, it's a view contact, right? Edit as a fa minus pen icon. Okay, and one more, it's a not link, it's a button with the class bt btn minus danger. Okay, so here we need to have an icon with a class fe minus trash alt. Okay, you got the trash button. You have to give some spaces, so I can just give some margin top and bottom, this one here and here and here. Okay, and still there is no space. You can actually give t flex column and justify content center, align item center. Okay, that's perfect. The card is ready, and you wish you can also have some book shadow. For card, you say shadow LG. It gets quite shadow. Okay, so this page is done. So we have to make now new. That's for add contact page. So now let's start with add contact works. So back to here. I go to add contact.html. So let's make that part this one container. Okay, one row, single column, sap.h3, add contact. Okay, so now let's say margin top 3 and I'll say font weight bold and text danger. Okay, under that I have some dummy paragraph. Okay, and you can also make that as class called font style italic. Okay, so under that you need to have a form, this form and create button. Okay. Okay, can we start with the form under that? One more container. So let's say contact form. Let's say create contact form. Okay, container one row, call md3 or just say call sm3 or just 4. Okay, in that I have a form, margin bottom 2, one input. It is text with the class form control, and the placeholder goes to be the name of the person. You got the name, and same like that I have few other. Okay, name and email. Okay, I guess wait, photo URL, and it's a text only. Yeah, I have email, type is email, and mobile number and type is number, and here it's company, type is text, title is also text, and we have one select box with a class form control. Let's have an option. Let's say select a group, and lastly we have a button danger, and this value is create and type is submit. We don't have this extra. Okay, it's all fine, and on the right hand side I need to have what's called one image, because when you add a photo URL, right, that image to be display. So for that, this is called sm4, right? Yeah, let's take another call sm4 on image src. Let me grab for time being, copy image address, paste it. Just for time being, you get image like this, but problem is class contact image. Okay, this is how it looks like. Yeah, so we are done with this and create, and we also have one more back button or close button. So for that I'll say an anchor tag href, not href, it's router link slash. Okay, just go to the contact manager page and a class btn minus dark, and let's say close, and give some space, ms2 margin start 2. Okay, it looks like this. You click on close. Oh, if you click on close, back to this page. Okay, you'll be in this page and this page. Okay, now add contact is finished. Same like this, we have edit contact also. Yeah, so why can't I copy everything from here? I go to edit contact HTML. I just replace, and simply it says edit contact, and here is edit contact, and remaining all same. Simply it is update. Okay, update and edit contact. So new contact is working and update contact is also working. Okay, now what about view contact? Okay, let's make that page now. So view contact is like this, view contact and all. So back to view contact HTML. Yep, here the heading is common for everyone. So let's make this copy of the container. I'll go here and paste it. This is view contact. I got view contact. Under that you have image and you have some text. So here contact details, I say one container, one row, single call MD or call SM4, and call SM6. Okay, here I have image SRC. Where is the SRC? Yeah, this one for time being. Paste it. Okay. Oh, you get quite bigger image. So if I give a class call contact image, you get very small image. I can say contact image big, copy, style sheet. So same setup but just quite bigger image. Okay, let's make some 200 pixels. Okay, and right side you have this details. Okay, so here, yeah, here I'll say UL, but UL we have done somewhere, right? Contact manager. Yeah, in contact manager you have a UL. I'll copy, go to view contact, paste it. So you get the data, and you wish to have color. This group item danger. This color. Okay, let's make it for all. And we have few more details. So I can copy this 3 and paste again. Mobile and company title, and lastly you have a group name. Okay, fine. And it's not exactly center location horizontally, so align item center. Okay, I also have a back button, so back to the contacts manager page again. So let's take another row, single column. I'll say anchor tag. Let's go with a router link. I'll just make a slash for empty, and it's a button btn minus danger again, and it's back button. Okay, you wish to have some top space, margin top 3. Okay, and you to have an icon also. I tag with the class fe minus arrow alt circle left. Okay, looks good. Yeah. So new contact, close, view contact, back, edit contact, close, perfect. And this is just simple button. We wouldn't do anything. Yep. So as of now, we made a static setup for this entire application, and now actually we'll start with a service, and then we will connect with the components. Okay. So let's start with the. All right. So actually, before we start with the service, we need to have a backend setup. I mean the server setup, because this data actually needs to store in backend server, right? So you can choose either Spring with MongoDB, or Node.js with MongoDB, or Firebase, anything else you can use. You have a lot of options. You can use Oracle, MySQL, any database, or easiest thing is there is something called JSON server. So JSON server is a simple npm module which is can be act as a backend API. Okay, so we'll be using JSON server. So I'll tell you how to create a JSON server here. So I close all the tabs in this application. I create a folder, new directory called server. Okay, all my server code goes here. In the server, I have to create one separate package.json, open in terminal. So how to create package.json is npm init hyphen hyphen yes. Using this command, it creates a package.json. Okay. So once a package.json has created, you have to install a package called JSON server. How you install is npm install json hyphen server. Enter. So JSON server package is going to install in my server folder. It will take a few minutes. Okay, so JSON server has been installed in my machine successfully. Okay, after that, you have to specify the database. Generally, JSON server, generally JSON, yeah, JSON server look for a database that will be one JSON file only. What is that name will be db.json file. Okay, this will act as your database. Okay, so in previous video for React.js with CRUD also we have used db.json, and Vue.js with CRUD also we use db.json. So let me grab the db.json. I guess I have somewhere server, yeah, db.json. Let me open with Notepad++. Yeah. So this is a simple db.json which contains two parts. One is contacts and one is groups. Okay. So contacts is an array which contains a list of contact objects. So one contact object, second contact object, like that. Four contact objects are there by default. And groups, the contact belongs to which group? He's your colleague or friend or family. Like I have created 6 groups. Okay. So this is very simple JSON file. Here we have ID, name, company, email, title, and make sure these properties should match with your model. Where is my models? Here in the eye contact model. See, ID is there, ID, name, company, email, title, mobile, photo, group ID. Perfect. Okay, it's been matched. Yeah, so this is your db file. So let's copy that, and groups having this one ID and name, just two. Okay, the contacts is an array, groups also an array, all objects, and groups also match with ID and name. So you check the model ID and name. Okay, so I need to copy everything. Here in the server, I create new just scratch file db.json, and I'll paste my content. So this acts as a db. And at last, in package.json, you have to configure a small script. What is that? Is start script. It will be my JSON server. It should keep watching my db.json file. This is the command to start JSON server on your db.json. Along with that, -p 9000. So what is this extra is, it runs by default on 8080 or sometimes 3000 I guess. So I have to change this to 9000. Okay, fine. So this is simple configuration. And once it is done, yes, you are done with a backend server setup, fraction of seconds. Now if you want to start the server, simply go to cd space server location. In server folder, just say npm start. So it's been started. You can check, see your awesome JSON server has created with nice UI page. So here you have two things, contacts and groups. If you click on contacts, you get all the contacts to be listed out, and when you click on groups, you get all the groups to be listed out. Okay, so this way, fine. So now my server setup has been ready. So if you want to make the operations, the get data, fetch data and all, yes, this is the one. Okay, if you want to view all the contacts, you have to send a get request for /contacts. If you want to get single contact ID. If you want to create a contact, post request, put request, delete request for these so and so URLs. Okay, so I just make it over here. Yeah, fine. So server is ready with up and running. Now it's time to create a Angular service for making all these requests. So let's create a service for creating all that. So to create a service, we had already service the contact service. Yeah, before you make HTTP calls to the backend server, you have to make a small configuration, that is an app module. So first thing you have to do is import HTTP client module. Okay, this generally in in React.js and Vue.js, we use a package called Axios for fetching data from server. But in Angular, we use a special module because HTTP module is inbuilt in Angular. Okay, so we use that one. So just import HTTP client module, and you need to import it here. HTTP client module. So once it is imported, you can start using HTTP client module for fetching data from server. Okay, now move on to the service. First thing, let me inject my HTTP client. So private HTTP client of type HTTP client. Okay, it's been injected, and then I'll say private static server URL of type string is equal to, yeah, what will be your server URL. So what we discuss, yeah, up to 9000 is my server URL. So you have to make this here. That is my JSON server URL. JSON server URL. Okay. After that, what are all your requests? I have to view all the contacts. That means get all contacts. So public get all, let's say get all contacts. Get all contacts is a method. You can just take normal server URL, no static required. Yeah, here let's data URL of type string is equal to, yeah, to fetch contacts, my server URL /contacts, correct, /contacts is the path. Okay, now this will return an observable of type iContact array. You will receive all the contacts from that. So what you'll write is return this dot HTTP client dot get request, because as I specify is a get request for fetching data. So get data URL dot pipe. Okay, and this also will typecast to contact array. Okay, quite simple. So you will return an observable, and from the component you have to subscribe to the service for fetching data. Okay, so as of now this part, this is for getting all the contacts. Okay, along with that, if you want to handle the error, you can do a Google search for error handling. So I already have some basic function for error handling. I'll just copy and paste it here. Yeah, this is from HTTP error response. You have to make the import statements. Yeah, so what is this function is, if something goes wrong for fetching data from server, so this will check it. It is a client error or server error. It returns me the message. Okay, so here you have to do is catch error of handle error. Okay, so this is how it will returns you the error message from the service. Okay, so this is for get all contact. I hope it is correct. Yeah, fine. Next, this is just get all contacts. Next, you want to get single contact. This is handling. This is for error handling. Okay. Next, we want to get single contact. So let's say public get contact. This will returns an observable of I contact. Let's uh, let's data URL string is equal to um, this URL, and you want to get the particular contact. You have to provide the contact ID as a parameter, so that I can make that here slash contact ID, because as per this, no, as per this you have to provide the contact ID for fetching the particular contact. Okay, next, lastly, you make the same, but you will be getting this contact object. Okay, this is for getting single contact, and along with that, create a contact. How to create a contact? So let's say public create contact. So here you must be passing the contact object of I contact. This will return an observable of I contact, the created object, and let's data URL. So data URL same as the first one. Okay, and then it will return this dot http client dot create is a post request where data URL and the contact object. Okay, and so pipe and all common. Okay, so this will be what post request for data URL and contact. Okay, now happy. Yep. So same like this, if you want to update contact, let's say update contact. So function name also update contact. Here you have to provide a contact object as well as the contact ID. Okay, so here slash colon particular contact you have to update. See, for create ID not required because new ID will come, but for update existing ID only it will update. Okay, so it will be what put request. You get back again the contact objects. Okay, and lastly you can make delete contact. So just say it's delete. This time you don't need object, you just need only ID. and you just get just empty, and this also just empty, and no contact, just data URL. Problem is this is delete. Okay, you have to send a delete request like this. Okay, so delete contacts is also done. Okay, and last I want to get all groups. I have to get all the groups. So if you want to get all the groups, it's just like getting all the contacts. So get all groups, observable of I groups array, and here also I group array, and data URL is slash groups. Okay, get request slash groups, you get all the groups. Same way, if you want to get a single group, same like single contact, paste it, get single group. I'll do one thing, I'll just get the contact object of I contact, so that contact dot id or group id, you get the group id. It's not contact, it's groups. So groups slash group id, you get the particular group. So get, you'll be getting I group, and here also you'll be getting I group. So the function name goes to be get group. Okay, fine. So we are finished with the Angular service for making a request to the backend JSON server. Now it's time to call these services from R. So now it's time to fetch the real data from the JSON server. So let me go to components and contact manager, the component.ts file. Okay, so here first let me define the state. For example, public loading of type boolean is equal to false. So I'll just, this is required for spinner, and public contacts of type I contact array is equal to an empty array, and public error message of type string is equal to null. Okay, fine. Now okay, so I have three variables. Now let me inject my service. So private contact service of type, just make lowercase variable of type contact service. Okay, so private contact service is contact service. Okay, so now when the page loads, that is ng on init, I have to call the service. So first of all, I say this dot loading is equal to true to start the spinner, and this dot contact service dot get all contacts is a function. Okay, dot subscribe. In this you have access to data. That data is contact array. So that contact array I'm going to assign this dot contacts is equal to the data itself. And once you receive data, I'll stop the spinner, that is loading is equal to false. Okay, stop the spinner. Along with that, along with that, another function that returns the error. Okay, so I'll say this dot error message is equal to error, and also I'll say this dot loading is equal to false to stop the spinner even if you get the error from the server. Okay, so now this is finished. Now we have loadings, contact, and error message, and let me go to HTML, and when I say some pre-tag expression for all the contacts of JSON format, so what happens here is you check, see you got all the details from the server, okay, the JSON server. So now this data I need to loop through here. So to loop through, what I do is for this call MD6, I'll say star ng for before I make. I'll also check the condition. So star ng if contacts dot length is greater than 0 and also not loading. If it is not loading and length is greater than 0, then I have to loop through. How you loop through? Star ng for let contact of contacts. Okay, you get the each contact. So I save it. So what happened? You just loop through the column D6 depend on the number of contacts. There are 4 contacts. So automatically what you get is 4 cards, but there's no gap between them. Each card, I'll write something called margin top and bottom 2. Okay, some space has come. Okay, so 4 cards has come, and the next step is to change this dynamic image. So this src, let's make property binding with contact dot a photo. So you get all different pictures. Okay, next I have to print the name of it. So let's say expression contact dot name. Okay, you get all different names, and then email. So let's make contact dot email. You get all the emails, and also for mobile number, let's say contact dot mobile number. So you get all the mobile numbers. Okay, so this is the real data getting from the server. Okay, apart from that, I also display a nice spinner. Okay, to make the spinner, I have downloaded one GIF file that is loading. I'll copy, I'll paste it in the assets folder. Okay, simple loading dot GIF file, and this I have to configure with a component called spinner. So when I go to components, in that there is a component called spinner HTML. So here I'll make one container, one row, single column, single column. In that I write image tag src will be assets folder slash loading dot gif, and I also give the class name. So class name display block and margin auto, it comes at the center. If you want to see exactly how it looks like, you can go to app component, and somewhere above the navbar you write the spinner, you configure the spinner. So what happened, this is how the spinner looks like, but I don't want to display the spinner as it is everywhere. Depend on a condition, I display the spinner. So where do I display the spinner is in the contact manager. About this, I'll make the loading spinner. So how you display the loading spinner is you have a division, you can give a condition. So star ng if loading, then I display the spinner. So what happened? The loading and the data has come. Along with that, I also display the error message. How you display error messages? You can make a condition star ng if it's not loading and there is an error message. So if you have an error message, then you can display one container, one row, single column. I'll say p.h4 with the text danger and font weight bold. You display the error message. So if something goes wrong, you get the error message. For example, if you stop the server, the server was stopped. So what happened? You unable to fetch data from the server. Okay, so that time you get HTTP failure has come. Okay, so that is your uh, error message. Okay, so I say npm start again. So server is up and running. So when you make a request, then you get the data. Even if you make some wrong request, for example, if I go to contacts here, I make some wrong URL, even though server is up and running, but I made some wrong URL. Still you get the 404 not found because the so and so request you made, it's not available at the server side. Okay, so this is how you can handle the uh, error responses. So that's fine. So we made loading and we also get data from the server. So now it's time to talk about view. If I click on view contact, so I need to display the particular contact. Okay, so how you can display particular contact here is every contact card is having their own ID. So the moment you click on it, you have to transfer the ID in the URL, and through that you have to get the contact. So now let's take view contact. So to view the contact, so when I click on this particular button, you have to send a contact ID. So first let me go inside of this contact manager.html. In this, you have a link. Here it is. This is supposed to be a contact ID you have to pass on. So I'll make an expression. So contact.id. Okay, so this is the path and this contact ID has been passed in the URL dynamically. Now what happens when I click on this? It's been went to the page and here I got the ID. Okay, so now it's time to get this ID from the URL and get the proper contact data. So let me go to the view contact component. So here I have to fetch the data. So meanwhile I'll say public contact ID of type string or null is equal to, just say null as of now. Okay, now what I do is in this, if you want to get any parameter data in Angular, you have to depend on one class, that is activated root of type activated uh, now this one, yeah, activated root from Angular router. Yeah, from here you have to get it. So how you get that is, so this dot activated root dot subscribe dot sorry, it's params dot subscribe. So in this you will be getting the param. Okay, so let contact ID. Okay, or else you do like this dot contact ID is equal to param dot get of contact ID. I think activate root dot param map. Yeah, this is the one I forgot. Activated root dot param map dot subscribe. You get the param and param dot get of contact ID, and make sure you pass the exact one which you have configured in the router. See, when you go to router, there is a contact ID. So the same contact ID variable you have to specify here so that you get the contact ID from the URL. If you want to see this contact ID is that really getting online, so what I do is I'll make a pre-tag somewhere contact ID. So you can check, see the contact ID is same as the one. So for example, Glenn, exactly the same ID has come. Okay, so using this contact ID I have to fetch the original contact. So how you get the original contact here is, um, if you want to get it, just depend on contact service because that's where we have written the all the functions for fetching data from server. So contact service. So to catch hold of my contacts data, I need to have public loading of type boolean is equal to false, and public contact is an iContact object is equal to an empty object as iContact, and also public error message of type string or null is equal to null. Okay, that's fine. So now I have to get the particular contact. So what I do is below this dot contact service dot subscribe, this dot contact service dot get contact by passing this dot contact ID. Problem is this can be null, so you can't pass on null. So for example, I'll make a condition if this dot contact ID, if the contact ID is available, then only I can make a call to the service. So you can cut this and keep it here. Now it's happy. Contact ID dot subscribe. So in this you can able to fetch data from the server. Okay, that's a contact. So what I do is in this I'll say this dot loading is equal to false. First, sorry, to start the spinner it's true, and here, so this dot contact is equal to data. Okay, and this dot loading is equal to false because it is empty. And apart from that, this is your function, right? Yeah. So comma another function which catch hold of the error. So I say this dot error message is equal to error, and also this dot loading is equal to false. Okay, so fine. Now we can able to get the contact. So if you wanna see that, you can make contact object of type JSON. So you get the Glenn data has come. So this Glenn data you can display over here. So how I am going to display? So first I'll check this object is empty or not. Okay, because if it is empty, you can't able to retrieve the data. So how we check an object is empty? For example, I'll make a method public is not empty, a function. So return something like object dot keys of this dot contact object dot length is greater than 0. So if contact object is not empty, okay, so I have to call this function. So what I do is on top of this container, I'll make vf, sorry, ngf is not empty, and also I'll say not loading and not empty. And also if you want to display the loading spinner and error message, same like your contact manager component, you can just grab those two things here, copy them, go to view contact and paste it. So if loading spinner is like this and the error message is like this, we already seen that in the contact manager component. Yeah, here I'll check if not loading and it's not empty, then you can able to fetch data. So first of all, the source image will be src binding. I'll say contact dot photo. So you get the person's picture, and also name, email, and all you have to change. So for example, here contact dot name, and for email contact dot email, and for mobile contact dot mobile, and for company contact dot company, and for title contact dot title. Okay, and lastly if I say contact dot group ID. So please check, you got all the details except the group name. You just got a group ID but you didn't have a group name. But I need to display the group name, not this ID. It can be colleague, friend, whatever. So how you get the group name? So do one thing, back here I create one more property, group of type iGroup is equal to an empty object as iGroup. Okay, so I have a group. Next what I do is I have to get the group data as well. So here you get the contact data, right? So here only I'll say this dot this dot contact service dot get group by providing the contact object that will be uh, the data itself. This data, right? This itself is a contact object. This one I pass dot subscribe. In this, you can able to access the data. Let me access data. So that data will be the group object. So this dot group is equal to the data. Okay. So you can able to get the group. So if you want to see the group name, you simply go to HTML. In place of contact, I'll say group. So what happens? You get a group number 2 and it's a friend. I want to display just a friend. But before that, I need to check this object is empty or not, because you can't retrieve name if it is empty. So what I do is back to our regular function. Yeah, is not empty. I'll make one more condition because two objects are there. Object dot keys, object dot keys of this dot contact, no, not contact, this is group dot length is greater than 0. So both are not empty, then I can say not empty. Then you can able to change this to simply group dot name. So what happened? You get the group name as friend. Okay. Here one simple problem is company also coming as friend. That's problem with our db.json, it seems. So let me go to our db.json once. Yeah, if I go to db.json, see for Glenn, company's friend. It's not friend, it's a HCL Technologies. Okay, so now you get Glenn is a HCL Technologies. Okay, so I got this view contact. So when I click on Brad, so Brad data has come and Glenn data has come and back. Okay, that's perfect. So now it's time to make the create a fresh contact. Okay, let's see. So now let's start with add contact. So let me open the components add contact.html and its ts file. Okay, so first of all, let's uh, here add contact. These fields will be empty because you need to add a new data, but groups you have to get from server. Okay, let me create some variables first. I need public loading of type boolean is equal to false, and public I need to have contact object of type iContact is equal to an empty object as iContact, and then public error message of type string or null is equal to null. And I also need all the groups, so groups of type I group array is equal to an empty array as I group array. Okay, so I have initialized them. Now you have to get all the groups, then you have to import or inject private contact service from contact service. Okay, so how you get all the groups there, because I have to list out all the groups, so which group you have to add a contact. So I'll say this dot contact service dot get all groups, nothing to pass, this all groups dot subscribe. Here you can able to get data. So let's say here data. So I'll say this dot groups is equal to my data, and if something goes wrong, I'll make another function for the error message. So just say error. I'll say this dot error message is equal to error. Okay, so that's fine. So you get all the groups. We want to see that, you go to HTML, for example somewhere here a pre-tag expression all the groups of type JSON. So you will get all the groups from the server. So let's load all the groups in the drop down. Okay, how you load all the groups is, for this I write another option, and before that I'll check the condition star ng if groups dot length is greater than 0, then only you can make this. Okay, so here star ng for let the group of groups in this group dot name to be display, and the value goes to be, so value, let's make a property binding, group dot id, group dot id. You get, so you get all the groups. That's perfect. Done. And also if you want to make two-way binding happens in Angular. Okay, if you want to make two-way binding happens in Angular, you have to add a small configuration. What is that is, you go into the app module. Yeah, you have to add a forms module. This is added automatically for my WebStorm as soon as I added a value property over here. Okay, so you need to import forms module, and that's forms module you need to import forms module so that you can add a two-way data binding. Okay, so that is done. Now you have to bind data. How you bind your local data with your HTML? For example, to showcase, I'll say some pre-tag expression contact object. So what happened? You get the contact object of type JSON. Okay, it is empty. So if I start writing, it should bind here. So for that, what I do is I'll say ng model two-way binding contact dot name. Okay, ng model contact dot name. So what happens if I start writing the name? It's not working. One small issue is you have to give the name property as well. Name is equal to name. Okay, just make sure if you're using ng model two-way binding, you have to specify the name property as well. Okay, unique name, so that you get name. Perfect. So same like this, copy here. This is text. No, it's a photo URL, and also name is equal to photo. Okay, so let's copy this. Here I'll say it is email and name is email, and also it is mobile and the name is mobile, and here it is company and this is also company, and lastly here it's title and this is also a title. Okay, now that's fine. And what about the select box? You make here it is contact dot group id and the name also just group id. Okay, so you can check now. Name is working, photo URL working, email ID working, mobile number working, company working, title working, and what about the group? Yes, group ID is also works. Perfect. Yep, that's fine. You have to submit a form data. One more thing is you didn't add a form validation. Okay, you didn't add a form validation. So to have it, to have mm, yeah, to have form validate. So let's say here required field. This add required, automatically it will apply the required nature. For example, if I click on create, it's not allow. Let's say required is equal to true. If I'm trying to submit the form data, it won't let you submit actually. So let's say required true for all. Okay, and also I don't need to print this anymore. You can delete. Okay, so but here it was not showing select group. Problem will be, can I add some place holder? Nothing. Mm, okay, let's leave it and we'll see that bit later. Yep. So it's done. Now you just need to select a group. Okay. Yeah, and you have to create a contact. So it's a form submission. So what I do is on the form, uh, on submit, I say it's submit. Yeah, when submit happens, they say submit. They say like create contact, right? So create submit is my own function. So copy. So create this in the TS file, public. This create submit. So here you have to submit the form data. So how you submit the form data is this dot contact service dot create contact by passing on this dot contact object dot subscribe. Here you will get some data. Okay. So once it is created successfully, I have to redirect back to the home page. How we redirect back to home pages? You have to import one more package, that is private router of type router from Angular. Okay, Angular router. So using this you will navigate. So what I do is this dot router dot navigate to slash empty path dot then. That's it. So once it is successfully created, it will navigate back to the admin page or home page. And if there is an error, so I'll say this dot error message is equal to error, and then don't navigate anywhere, stay on the same page. So just say what? Contacts slash add. That's a current page address. Okay. And one last thing is we didn't make the loading and the error message code that will be in the contact manager. Yeah, you copy that and paste it here. Okay, for loading spinner and error message. Okay, so now let's refresh. For example, I go and new. Okay, you got it. One last thing is I say name, but photo URL, if I paste, this should change, right? I think that also not done. At the end, you have src. This src will be src contact dot photo. So by default there is no photo. It comes when you add. Okay. See, we have only Brad and all this. I don't have my name, so let's add my name. So meanwhile, I also select the photo. I think this photo also not there. Yeah. Copy image address. Yeah, I'll add my name. Okay. Let's say my name and photo URL. I'll paste. See, automatically the photo has come. And okay, so mobile number and HCL Technologies title and group is colleague, something like that, and then click on add. So when you click on add, what happens? It will submit data to server and then redirect to home page if successful. So click on create. See, it's been successful, so that I got a new record called my name and all this. Okay, so now I got four records. So this is how create happens. Okay, we have successfully created, and if you click on view also, you can see the view complete details, colleague and all this, right? That's fine. Now it's time to edit the contact. Okay, so let's start with edit contact. So here, and also same like here, if I click on edit, the particular contact to be edited, it means I have to pass on the dynamic contact ID on the URL. So what I do is I go to this contact admin page. I can close all the tabs. Now here, it's quite complex. Let's see, simple. Edit contact. Wait, this is contact manager, no? Yeah, in contact manager, where is this link? It is here. Same like the router link. You have to make this router link by passing a dynamic ID, but it is edit. Okay. So now what happens when I click on edit for Brad ID has come. Okay. So now by using this ID, I have to get the Brad data and populate in the form. So how you get this ID? So go to edit contact. Here I'll say a lot of properties, public, loading of type boolean is equal to false, and public contact ID of type string or null is equal to null. Public the contact object of I contact is equal to an empty object as I contact, and public error message of type string or null is equal to null. I also need all the groups to be displayed, okay, so that I can change the group name. So groups will be I group array is equal to an empty array as I group array. And these are my data. First of all, I have to read this ID. So for that, private activated root of type activated root. Okay, so using this you fetch. So I'll say this dot activated root dot param map dot subscribe. In this you can able to fetch the say param. So this dot contact ID is equal to param dot get of my contact ID exactly as per the configuration you made in the router. For example, it's contact ID. Here also same. Yep. So now you receive the contact ID. You want to see that? Go to HTML somewhere at the end. Pre-tag expression contact ID. I get the contact ID. Okay, using this contact ID, I have to get the entire contact details. How you get the contact details is here if this dot contact ID, if the contact ID is available, then this dot have to get the contact data. If you want to get contact data, you need to import or inject contact service, that is contact service. So I say now this dot contact service dot get contact by providing this dot contact ID. So dot subscribe. So here you will receive the data, that is contact object. So this dot contact is equal to data, and along with this let's make the spinner and all. So this dot loading is equal to true, and after fetching data this dot loading is equal to false. You can even make this guy here. Okay, fine. And if something goes wrong, let's say another function for the error, this is error, So I say this dot error message is equal to error, and also this dot loading is equal to false to stop the spinner. Okay, so you get the contact object as well. So if you want to see that, let's say contact of type JSON. So you get the contact object of Brad. For example, if I'm going to edit Vladin, you get the Vladin details. Okay, so this data you need to bind here. We'll do in a minute. But apart from that, group ID has come, but I didn't get all the groups here. So if you want to get all the groups, um, okay, anyway, contact object is there. We don't need actually that. Um, get all the groups, right? Yeah. So this dot contact service dot get all groups dot subscribe. Now here you get the data, that is all the groups. So this dot groups is equal to data. You get the groups data as well. Okay, so now we have to bind this data over here in the form. So go to the HTML. Here I'll make it is required to be true, and also ng model with my contact object dot name. Okay, and before I uh, do this, you have to check the contact object is empty or not, right? Okay, ng model, and let's take the value will be contact dot name, and let's say the name also it's name. Okay, so you get the name, and if you are changing it, it's updating in the state also. Okay, so let's copy all, make it for all, make it for photo URL. This is photo, value also photo, and form control 2 times. So name is photo. Okay, so let's copy. For email, this is email, and this is also email, and this is email, and here, so here it is mobile, and this is also mobile, and this is mobile. Next, here is company, and this is company, this is also company. Next, here it's title, this also title, and this is title. And lastly, for select box, this is contact dot group ID, and this also contact dot group ID, and this is group ID. Fine. And one thing I miss is required. Here I'll say it is required. Oh, I made it here. Required is true. Copy. For all these guys is required. Here and here, here and here, for all. Okay, so all the details has come. You can select the group, but group has not display. If you want to display the group, yeah, let me write options value. Yeah, I'll say ng for let group of all the groups. Here I say group dot name will display, and the value will be group dot id. So by default this person is service person. Okay, Group ID 4 is service person. And what about the image? Image, okay. So image will be, I say src contact dot photo. Okay, the person picture has come. Okay, so I don't need to display this pre-tag. It works in this way. Okay, looks good. So now you can able to update, and then you can update. So when I click on update, what to happen? So when I click on update, just say submit. Let's say submit update. You have to create the function in the TS file. So let's say public submit update is a function. So same like a create contact what you have done. So for create contact, I made it for like this. So let's copy as it is. You go to edit contact also, edit contact.ts file also, and paste it. Yep, here it will be one second. A router is not there. Yeah, we have to add a router for redirection. Private router of type capital router from Angular router. Okay. Next, yeah, here update contact by passing on contact object and also this dot contact ID. One problem is contact ID can be dull. Okay, I'll make like this. If this dot contact ID is available, then only you can make this submission. Okay, so contact service dot update contact by passing a contact ID and contact. So if we successful, navigate to this page. If not successful, navigate to edit slash my contact ID will be. Okay, the same page will gets loaded. Okay, that's fine, done. Now let's check. I back here. For example, for Rajan, I will edit. I got Rajan with image. So I'm gonna change his image with this one. Okay, so I'll copy the image address and here I'll paste and then update. See, image has been updated. For example, you want to change the mobile number. Let's say something 8080. Update. Mobile number has been updated. So now view has come, new create has come, update has come, view has come, everything is done. And one last thing is to delete a record from this application. So let's start. So to delete a record, you just have to click on the button and you have to pass on the ID of this person to delete it. So for example, if you go to the contact manager component, I go to contact manager.ts file here, not ts file, in HTML. Yep. So here when I click on this button, I have to call a function by passing on the ID. Okay, so I'll say click delete contact. I'll be passing on contact.id. Okay, so I copy this and I go to the ts file. Here I create a method public click delete contact and you will be passing on contact ID of type string. Okay, so if you have the contact ID, then you can call a delete function. How we call delete function? This dot contact service dot delete contact by passing the contact ID dot subscribe. You get the data. So I say data. Okay. So what should I do with this? So once contact has been deleted, when you make a call to the deletion of server side, only server side data gets deleted. But what about the front end data? You have to showcase the refresh of data at the front end. So for that you have to call this whole thing again. Instead of making the whole thing again, I'll do like this. I create one more function, get all contacts from server. Okay, so I just cut this entire story, keep it in this function, and I say simply this dot get all contacts from server. Okay, when the page loads, I'll get all contacts from server. Next, when this deletion happens also, then this dot get all contacts from server. Happily, you get a fresh data from server. If something goes wrong, if something goes wrong, then you will get the error like this. Okay, it's quite simple. So delete contact is should work. Let's see. Back here, uh, contact manager.html line number 50. Okay, simple. If it is declared as string and if you while passing it, it says it can be undefined. How can you pass it? So I declare yes string or undefined. Okay. Yeah, happy. Now let's try which one to delete. I won't delete Rajan. Just click on delete. See, Rajan deleted. You get the spinner and you got the data as well. Okay, that's it. So we finish this contact manager application with a complete CRUD operation. We can create, read, update, delete, and everything. Okay, so now it is finished. So thank you so much for joining, and please practice on this, and we'll meet in the next video for another project.